Are more moms exploring sobriety? I've got Recovered Life contributor Desiree Hull on the line to discuss. How you doing, Desiree?
I'm great, Damon. Thank you so much for asking.
Hey, it's good to have you. And I know you are the ultimate mom slash sober coach. You've got a few kids
Yeah.
there. And when I read this article by Nicole Hayden on the Every Mom, it was talking about moms exploring sobriety more than ever. I figured you are the go-to person to discuss this. What is up with this, Desiree? Are more moms having an issue with alcohol? What's going on with this?
Damon, yeah, that's a great question. So I think I'm a mom of five, and I entered a forum called Sober Mom Squad, and it was there that really opened up my eyes to see more and more moms coming in and just feeling spiritually, mentally, and emotionally depleted with alcohol.
Yeah, is this really people that are coming in that have alcoholism as we would define it, right? I know you were in recovery and you probably define yourself as a recovered alcoholic. I know I do as well. These aren't just people that are coming in that really have reached the point where they're saying that they're alcoholic, right? They're just
Right.
alcohol no longer works for them.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, yes, alcoholism was very black and white. Um, and for the women that I see coming in that are kind of just curious about this and what it just kind of dipped their toes in, they're realizing that just alcohol just doesn't serve them anymore. And like months to maybe even a year later, we're celebrating their milestones, and they're just explaining in a way that, even if they were just weekend drinkers or drank occasionally throughout the week, they didn't realize how much headspace alcohol was actually taking up until they just completely took alcohol out of their life.
Yeah, what are some of the signs here? And I want to talk about that a lot about what are some of the things that might be going on with moms that they decide, hey, you know what? I want to explore this. Maybe I have an alcohol problem. Maybe I don't. I know it's no longer working for me. What are some of the things that come up that moms identify with that are, problems that they would want to maybe explore this?
Yeah. So that's I think I see a lot of moms just saying that alcohol was it wasn't fun. There was a time that it was fun for us, and it's not becoming fun anymore. They are starting to feel not so present, not only for themselves but also for their families, because of the mind fog that alcohol unfortunately provides. You just don't feel quite as present anymore.
Yeah, I know it's the mind fog. I know it's, I've heard a lot of moms say, "Hey, you know what? I don't think I'm necessarily addicted to alcohol, but the physical effects just don't work for me anymore. And I have to run my household. I've got to run my life. Many moms work. So, they're, out doing their thing, and it's just harder to, live your best life when you have all of those physical effects of drinking alcohol. Desiree, I got to talk about this witching hour thing. It's after you put the kids to bed or you deal with all the responsibilities you have the day. This seems to be the time where moms pick up alcohol and use alcohol the most. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, David, absolutely. So we've actually dubbed it in our world. It's when the wine witch is coming. We have to be completely aware of starting to just interrupting that habit of when we know that time is going to come around, because it's the habit of that hour, and just knowing that, like, you feel like it's your reward at the end of the day. You've done all the things, took care of the kids, did the homework, laundry, and like all this stuff, and then you just want to unwind. But that unwinding part is not beneficial for us at all.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's this tie-in between I need alcohol to unwind, right? It's this tie. How do you untie that, right? Because I know it growing up in my household, alcohol was used as like, okay, we've done a good job. We've finished what we have to do for the day. Now we're going to reward ourselves by relaxing, and relaxing equals alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is so interesting, especially with moms. How do moms untangle that association between relaxing and drinking?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's really hard in the beginning. We have to find things that um, don't seem boring, because like everything that was told to me in the beginning of what to do in order to break that habit, it just seemed boring. And now it's all these things are just, I love them. Picking up new habits of things to do with your hands, going for walks, exercising, uh, gosh, just spending more time with your kids, going outside to play with them, like anything during that witching hour, we have to break that pattern of behavior and just do something that's completely different and out of the norm of just grabbing the bottle of wine and the glass and pouring it, because that does not, it's not relaxation. It's not true relaxation. True relaxation is just being with yourself, and finding things, to help relax you mentally and physically.
Absolutely. I think that what's interesting about this is this term alcoholic, right? We did a segment on this last week about how the word alcoholic might really stop people from quitting drinking because they don't want to, because if they say, look, I'm quitting drinking, then in their mind they say, well, you know what? I'm an alcoholic. And look, no one wants that label, but especially moms, right? Like, I don't think anybody wants to go to the mommy group and say, hey, I'm an alcoholic. That's why I'm not drinking, right? But there are people who do come in and it's gone past, let's say, their ability to be able to stop. It's gone past, it is a full on addiction. They are showing signs of alcoholism. You know, in your opinion, because I know it wasn't something that you could kind of take or leave, right? You had to really dive into recovery. How do people identify, moms, that maybe it's not just, they went a little too long for a couple months too much, having that wine during that witching hour?
Um, well, I know personally for me, it was definitely, I had to stop, or I felt like I was going to die. The other hard thing for me was knowing how to tell other people what was going on. And that was difficult because, unfortunately, when you're a woman and you tell people you're not drinking, their first thought is that you're pregnant. And that's probably one of the most annoying things to hear. But finding community was the biggest thing for me, so that I didn't feel like I was by myself. So when I found a community that was other women who had the same problem as I did, I was able to open up and be more vulnerable and share about all these feelings that I was having, and didn't feel so alone anymore.
Yeah, I think, the final thought here, Desiree, is that there's hope out there, right? Like, so if moms are listening to this right now and they're saying, you know what, it just doesn't work for me. I think what I loved about this article and what I love about the Sober Curious movement is that people are making a choice before it is a huge problem, right? Before maybe they are an alcoholic or totally addicted to prescription drugs or anything else, right? They're actually saying, hey, you know what, this doesn't work for me. Final thoughts here, Desiree, for anyone that's listening to this that's thinking, you know what, should I maybe give this whole Sober Curious thing a try?
Absolutely. You don't, I just always feel, I think it's beautiful that even if you're just curious, that's just the beginning. You can just come in and, dip your toes in, just kind of get a feel for it. What are these women doing? See how they're speaking, how positive they are, and what direction their lives are going, how they're achieving their goals. And then, the more you hear, the more it's going to kind of dig into you, and your soul, and eventually it'll start to fade. It'll start to fade away. The feeling of drinking. Mm-hmm.
Desiree, thank you so much for coming on the show today. This really, really great advice from a mom who's doing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Damon.